we have a unique set of issues that we must learn to master in order to be successful as blackpreneurs.
This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond.
When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street. When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black.
Greetings, and welcome to this edition of Black Wall Street Today. I am your host, Blair Durham. We have an exciting show planned today. This is actually part 3 of our economic development series. If you joined us last week, you know we had representatives from the city of Norfolk here talking about various initiatives as it relates to economic development. We also had a professor from Hampton University talking about some national initiatives to spur youth entrepreneurship. So we're excited today to continue that conversation. We are also excited because we are just days away from the 3rd annual Black Diamond Affair, which is the anchor event for Black Diamond Weekend, where we're celebrating success in Black entrepreneurship and we're creating opportunities for business development. So thanks again for tuning in. If you're listening, there are going to be some ticket giveaways. So make sure you keep it locked on 88.1. I'll be talking about ways that you can get tickets, entry into the event, and so forth. All kinds of fun things happening today. So one of the most widely quoted statistics as it relates to the black dollar has to do with our spending power. You hear it said often that we spend over $1 trillion annually. However, as you know, those dollars have failed to really translate into significant ownership or wealth for the Black community. So our first guests today are from the city of Virginia Beach. We have with us Mr. Ron Williams, who is the Deputy City Manager. We have Mr. Taylor Adams, who's the Finance Operations Administrator. And we also have Mr. Jeff Smith, who is a Business Development Manager with the City of Virginia Beach. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the disparity study, just sort of those outcomes and what the city's plans are to address what the results actually said. So who would like to get started? Just kind of give us an overview of what the disparity study, what it is and what it has meant for the city.
Okay. So this is Taylor. I'll go first. The disparity study is it's a piece of economic research. We hired a firm out of Denver, Colorado. They BBC Research and Consulting, and so we have a team of 2 economists leading the study. And what they've done is they analyzed our market area first to determine where is the city of Virginia Beach spending money? And then once they identified that market area, they then did a piece of research to determine what is the total population of women and minority-owned firms with whom the city could have done business. Okay. After that, they said, okay, how much did you actually do? And so here's what we learned. We learned that to reach a utilization number that was appropriate for our region, about 12% of our total expenditures should have gone to women and minority-owned businesses. Here's the problem. We achieved 10%. And so 10% was our goal. That was a goal that City Council adopted 10 to 15 years ago. That was not a scientifically derived goal. That was just a goal that was really pulled out of the air to push. There was no goal prior to that. So starting with somewhere, I think just part of the conversation, somebody said 10%. And we struggled initially to meet that goal. In fact, it was only through this study that we learned over a 5-year period that we had actually achieved that 10% goal, which we're happy about. But we see that now that we have the data and we know that goal should have been 12%, that there is more work to be done. And that's really what's driving this conversation.
Let me ask about the 10%, though, because there have been a lot of questions about kind of the breakdown of those numbers.
Sure.
Can you talk about, so there's women, there's minorities. What percentage of that 10% went to women versus minorities?
So give or take, half would have been achieved through basically white women-owned businesses, and so because and that goes to the city's reporting criteria, and really the way that all of these studies are put together. If a woman-owned business is also a minority-owned business, generally the minority-owned business participation is counted first.
Okay.
And so what's left, obviously, then when you isolate, is for the white women-owned business population. That was give or take half of that number.
Okay. So that's the crux of it, is
Sure.
What's the plan to increase the number of minority-owned businesses that get to participate in those contracts?
That is where the bulk of our goals live today. So so over the last 3 years, we've been actively working in that space. And there's a series of things that we've done already that are gaining some traction. One is the Procurement Opportunity Committee, which oddly enough, or interestingly enough, won the Alliance for Innovation's sort of award for local government innovation, because and what that did was it takes a minority-owned business that has been trying to sort of get in to see a city department, and then the purchasing office engages in bringing that city department to the table, starts a dialogue between the two. There's some other sort of efforts that happen in there to make sure that vendor is ultimately finding a contract.
Okay.
Long story short, that has resulted in $3 million. That program over 2 years has resulted in $3 million in
and that
new
was
contracts
the
to minority
Procurement
Opportunity Committee.
Okay.
Other things that we do, we've run 4 sections of the Contractors Institute, which Jeff could talk a little bit more about in a minute. But that's really more in the realm of capacity building, readiness. Excuse me. We're actively engaged in taking large citywide contracts, breaking them up into chunks that are more, I guess, that make them easier for smaller and particularly minority-owned businesses to compete for. Particularly, and that cuts right back to capacity as well. We are looking to the study, though, to take us to what new opportunities are out there. We feel like that there is more focus that we can bring, not just to growing our minority-owned business portfolio, but also breaking down which minorities we're doing business with. For example, we know that we have one of the things the study has already shown us is that we've had some wonderful success with Asian American-owned businesses.
Okay.
We have not necessarily seen that same success with African American-owned businesses. We see that Hispanic-owned business saturation is actually growing quite well in construction right now. So let
me just cut you right there for a moment. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. We're here with a gentleman from the city of Virginia Beach having a conversation about the disparity study and their plans really to address the disparity with regard to minority-owned businesses receiving contracts from the city of Virginia Beach. Yeah. You were saying?
Yeah, and so the conversation for us within the city right now is how do we really utilize all of this new data that we got out of the study to get into what should be far more specific goals. So we know that last year we did business with more African American owned businesses than we did with any other category of minority owned business that was tracked. However, we're seeing the lowest percentages in that space. What tells me is there's a population that we are not reaching and that there's work to be done there.
Okay. Yeah, so I've got 2 questions then. The first is, I know we've identified sort of an overarching goal of 12%, right? What is the goal, or has a goal been established specifically for minority-owned businesses within that 12%, or?
So no, this is where we presented draft results to City Council.
Okay.
About 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I anticipate that in the next 10 days we'll get the final report. We really want to take a minute to dive into that and understand particularly what those more granular goals should be. Because I'll tell you one thing that we're seeing is an overarching goal is not getting us to where we need to be.
Right.
We need to see those final results, understand what's in there, and I can't speak for what our policymakers will do, but at the programmatic level, I think it's important for us to use that data, then focus on, okay, what's an appropriate goal for Asian American owned businesses, for Hispanic American owned businesses, for African American owned businesses, so that we're using this study to accomplish what is the right goal for our community.
Yeah, I love it. So let me ask this, in terms of sort of managing the oversight of what happens with the study. Is there another firm in place for that? Is there an opportunity there for someone to come in and participate?
So not yet, but only because we're not holding the final study yet. What we know is that there is an obligation to monitor performance.
Yeah.
Once sort of whatever programmatic changes we make are established. So to that end, yes, we know that there will be a need to have somebody helping us remain current. I think it's great if that's a third party. But the reality is, I would tell you, we're just not that far yet.
Yeah. Okay. What else? I know you mentioned perhaps someone else from your department.
Yeah, this is Ron Williams.
Thank you, Ron.
Really, we've kind of got a two-pronged approach when we look at economic vitality.
Okay.
We just spent a number of minutes talking about how to do business with the city and understanding the metrics on that, but also how do you do business in the city? Business to business, B2B, capacity building, opportunities for entrepreneurial growth, mentoring, innovation challenges, and leveraging partnerships is the space and the conversation that we're having within the Department of Economic Development. Leveraging partnerships, it's pretty cool. We're here at Hampton University, whom we do have a partnership with, and we're collaborating in the bioscience space and bringing the National Institutes of Health National Conference here next year, and that was through the leadership of Hampton University, but also our relationship together. But that capacity building of, number one, how do you just become and be a business person? We need more of it. We can't do it ourselves as just the city, and so that's going to be a focus, particularly in 2019, for business startup and growth, business retention, and expansion of existing businesses is really 85 to 90% of economic development.
Yes.
We don't, the whale hunting and trying to large an ADP that came in, that's rare. Of course, we want relationships, and we do market internationally and domestically, but usually that's helping an expansion or a supply chain for another type of business that we already have. For example, a significant cluster has grown around steel and the chainsaws that they make. Well, you've got gears and parts and other suppliers that have come and clustered around that industry. So looking at our strengths of our city geographically and our economy where we sit in the Hampton Roads region is where we want to focus and say, okay, these are where you can leverage, and this is where you can have opportunity. We want to be that place where you can have some critical mass of partnerships that know how to help someone learn how to be in business, how to be successful in business, and then how to get business.
Yeah. I love it.
And Jeff spends a lot of time on that. And in fact, in the Contractors Institute is one of those, and some other programs that we'll have in 2019.
Okay, good. Real quick, if you've just tuned in, this is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today. We are here with Jeff Smith, Taylor Adams, and Ron Williams from the city of Virginia Beach talking about economic development. We're talking about the disparity study, opportunities, and certainly the city's plans to ensure access. So as a SWAM manager, kind of what's your role in the city and how are things working?
Yeah, thanks. What we try and do in economic development, we look at the partnerships that we have, and we try and leverage those for the small women-owned and minority businesses. We do that through a series of workshops and forums that allows a small business owner to get access to larger corporations so they can understand how they can go about doing business within those large corporations. We're very active in the Carolinas, Virginia Minority Supply Development Council. We're planning on bringing them to Virginia Beach for a conference in August of 2019.
Okay. What was that again?
The Carolinas, Virginia Minority Supply Development Council.
Carolina, Carolina, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council.
Correct.
Okay, and you said that was going to
August of 2019.
Got it. Okay.
What that is a certification arm which provides certifications for small women-owned minority businesses such that corporations could have a comfort level that they have the capacity to do work within their organization. Some of the organizations that are corporate members are Wells Fargo, Boeing, BMW, Capital One. So there are quite a few that are regional throughout Carolinas and Virginia, which only broadens the opportunity for the small business community.
I love it. Let me ask you about your goals sort of within your department. Is your role more, you're working directly with businesses, I assume? Yes. Okay. Correct. So do you have a set number of contracts within your department that you're expected to help facilitate, or is it sort of, you're just responding to requests for information, or?
No, it's not so much responding to requests. Our ultimate goal is to grow revenue for the city of Virginia Beach. And in doing such, we are reaching out to organizations, whether it be, small women-owned or minority, and to try and assist them, whether it be through workshops, to help them build capacity, or even make contacts with organizations so they can do business to business. So that is our effort.
Okay, got it.
And one of our biggest metrics, Blair, is really job creation.
Got it.
And so how do we grow the economy here in Virginia Beach and in Hampton Roads? We were a lag in recovery comparatively across the United States as a region, in part because we were a lag going into the recession, but we were a lag coming out of the recession in our net new job creation. And it was only this past year that we actually got back to pre-recession levels as far as employment for the region. Now, thankfully, it's good news, bad news. We have very low unemployment, but we have a job filling gap. And so we need to create more job opportunity and also skills to fill those. But really, that's the biggest metric is creating opportunity through jobs.
I love it.
And Blair, if I can add one thing.
Sure. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, and it's important to note there's a member of my team who actually works very closely with Jeff on the doing business with the city sort of part of the conversation. Lavera Tolentino is her name.
Lavera, yes.
And Lavera is in that sort of outreach piece that you're talking about, connecting vendors with city contracting opportunities every day, and she's been very successful in that space. So
maybe describe one of your expos.
That's right. So just was November 8th. Yeah, we had our, I think it was our 21st annual Minority Business Council Expo. We had just over 300 minority-owned businesses pre-register or register on sort of inside, and I think we had over 200 attend. Every city department was there at a table with contracting opportunities, as well as 40 other public agencies from around Hampton Roads. So that very much was, and Lavera did a great job in working with our leaders on the Minority Business Council to plan that event and execute it, and with Jeff as well. And it's become one of the things we most look forward to. We also just finished a project information session on the Virginia Beach Sports Center down at the oceanfront. Again, where a large city project that is coming, that is in design, entering construction, and so we had both the contractor that will build the facility and the contractor that will operate the facility on site looking for subcontractors. So again, a very successful event.
I love it. This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today. We're here with representatives from the city of Virginia Beach talking about economic development. This is part 3 of our series there. I've got to ask you guys about this. Pharrell Williams. Something in the water. What can you say about it?
Well, brief thumbnail sketch.
Okay.
And at some point, his team should come speak with you.
Yes,
they'll be able to do that
him
in early 2019.
Sure.
But thumbnail sketches, thankfully, we have a world-renowned superstar that came from Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm. And he's ready to bring some of that power of being a superstar back to Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity.
Is there a focus within that on economic development?
There is. Something in the water is akin to South by Southwest. So if you want to familiarize yourself with the format, it's a conference and a festival together it's a content-driven, entrepreneurial-oriented opportunity that's multicultural, inclusive, and it's going to give something that, frankly, I'll admit, has been a challenge for us with College Beach Week the last weekend in April. It gives us something to program, it gives something to do, and it gives people the opportunity to be inspired about the businesses, the artists, the mathematicians, the athletes, and all the type of programming that they're looking to bring.
So I know that you guys do a number of festivals. I think you do a great job in the city of Virginia Beach with festivals. My last question is, what is that process? If someone has an idea for programming that's going to become something, along these lines, who do they approach with it?
We have a events office that they can get a permit through our Convention and Visitors Bureau. And that's what this is. Pharrell's bringing a very experienced team. So we're essentially the permitting agency.
Okay.
We'll provide support like we normally do for any other, and there's some cost recovery in there for our support for public safety, transportation.
So someone has
somebody
an idea
can go
for
to the events
programming.
office of a
They bring it to the
convention
event office. There's, I assume, a formal review and interviewing
That's
process.
Right. To understand the impacts, yes.
Sure.
I should say, if more information about Virginia Beach economic development, yesvirginiabeach.com, or you can call our office at 757-385-6464.
Yesvirginiabeach.com. Okay. How else can you be reached? And what do you have going on next? Anything coming up that you want to talk about? Workshops, anything?
I'm in the process now of scheduling our workshop series. This will be our 5th year for our workshop series.
Okay.
And if you go to yesvirginiabeach.com, we'll have that online by December 15th, which will outline all the workshops through probably August of 2019.
Okay. Any social media presence that we can reference here?
It's all at the bottom on yesvirginiabeach.com that you can reach that. Yes.
All right. Perfect. Gentlemen. Oh, go right ahead.
One more thing quickly on the doing business with the city of Virginia Beach. We'd encourage you to go to vbgov.com. Go to the purchasing website there. There's a list that's updated every week of all of our new and upcoming opportunities for contracting with the city.
vbgov.com.
That's right.
Weekly purchasing.
And for anyone who would like, we welcome you to call the purchasing office. That they can actually add your name to a list where we will email you a copy of those new opportunities every week.
I love that list. There's everything on it, from landscaping opportunities to painting opportunities.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And the full gamut from the smallest thing to the largest thing. So encourage everyone to have a look at that if they can.
Okay, wonderful. This has been great. Thank you three so much for being here today, and I certainly look forward to having you again. I appreciate all of what you're doing in Virginia Beach. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome back. This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today. We are in part 3 of our series on economic development, and our next guest is a social entrepreneur who has worked as a referee for the NBA for the last 25 years. I am so excited to bring Mr. Tony Brothers on the line. Tony, how are you today?
I'm great. How about you?
I am doing well. Can't hear you. There we are. Yep, doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Awesome. Tony, first of all, I just want to commend you on all of the wonderful things that you do in our community. You are such an inspiration. Still can't hear you at all on my end. Let me start get that adjusted. Okay, so just getting started. Could you talk a little bit about what it is that inspired you in terms of entrepreneurship? How'd you get started? What made you kind of take that leap?
Well, I'm more of a philanthropist than entrepreneurial. I mean, one kind of leads you into the other, but what sent me there, and as far as philanthropy was concerned, was when my mother passed away, looking for something to do to try to get myself back in a position where I felt I was moving forward. I was at a serious standstill mentally, and so I had to get out there and do some things. My sister, started a nonprofit, and I was working with her, and then eventually branched off, and Monica and I started a nonprofit working with single moms, and then on to what I'm doing now, which is with underserved men, which in doing this, it sends you out into the business world where you are trying to get organizations, companies, everybody to participate in what you're doing. And so one thing sort of led to another, but more on the philanthropy side than anything else is where I kind of sit. And as I said, it was directly related to the loss of my mother. I don't know that I would be doing these things now, but for all of us, there are always things that send us in a certain direction. So I'm glad that I'm in the place that I'm in.
As am I. Let me ask you, a focus on underserved men. What does that look like? What are some of the goals, the outcomes of your programs?
Well, now what I have done, it's been over the years, is everything evolves and you work to try to get things into a more efficient and better performing way. And so with Men for Hope now, what I do is I partner with other organizations. So one of the organizations is an Achievable Dream that is based over in Newport News, and we also have a school in Virginia Beach and one in Henrico County. And so their mission and what they have done over the years is pretty incredible. They have a 100% graduation rate. 90% of the kids go to college and 10% go in the military or the trade school. And nobody else can even come close to those type of outcomes. So as opposed to me trying to create a school, and they serve that underserved population. It consists of boys and girls, but and our primary focus is on boys, but still it serves the purpose and it does what I would like to do. So as opposed to me reinventing the wheel, I decided that I would partner with them on my celebrity weekend, and so the proceeds, or part of the proceeds from our celebrity weekend, goes there. The other entity that we partnered with was the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Virginia, and our celebrity golf tournament proceeds go there. And both of those organizations assist in raising money for the events, and so we're just really trying to be a catalyst to helping other organizations get stronger versus creating, everybody has an idea for a nonprofit, as opposed to creating all these nonprofits and straining the dollars that are needed to help. If we could all get together and focus on a common goal and all work together towards that, then we could get the resources going where the resources can be used the most.
Got it. So when you say a focus on underserved men, then you're more so speaking about this idea of collaboration and sort of getting men engaged with, benefiting the community in some way?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the things that have happened, when we, biblically, men are, when I say head of the household, I don't mean bossing people around, but there is a sort of, there's a loss here of how things have been and where we need to be to get men to where they feel responsible, I guess is what I'm getting at. And so if we can't create that responsibility in young men where when they do get a family, they feel responsible, head of the household, I'm responsible for this household, then I think a lot of things are going to be lost. My mom was a single mom, and I watched how hard she had to work. Now, my dad, he made sure we had the things that we needed, but it's still, my mom had to negotiate and navigate life with 2 kids on her own. And I just believe that if we can get to that underserved population and get some skills, some social skills in their hands, that they should be getting the academic education, but get some social skills in their hands, then we can create stronger families. So that's the idea.
I absolutely love it. So let me ask this. You are the keynote speaker for the 3rd annual Black Diamond Affair, which is hosted by Black Brand, the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. What is it that people can expect in terms of your keynote presentation?
Well, I went on a trip to South Africa in the summer, and I'm not going to tell you much about it because to come so they can hear it, because the whole goal of this is to raise money to help other people.
Absolutely.
But I went to South Africa this summer, and I learned a lot in just being I was in South Africa, and I went to Zimbabwe, and then in Zimbabwe stayed at a safari resort. And the way, the dynamics of the resort and how the people there function are what I'm going to talk about as it relates to business and how we do business and what we do. It was a lot to be learned from those people, and there'll be a lot to share as far as that's concerned.
Fantastic. Tony, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. I look forward to having you back on the show.
Well, we'll work on that and get that done. And but I will see you on Friday for sure.
Perfect. Thanks so much. We'll talk soon.
All right. You're welcome.
Awesome. And our next guest is actually an honoree. She will receive the Excellence in Empowerment through Entrepreneurship Award at the 3rd Annual Black Diamond Affair happening this Friday at the Virginia Beach Weston Town Center. Miss Janita Castile, how are you?
Yes, hi. How are you? I'm great.
Oh, awesome. I'm so delighted to get to meet you today.
Absolutely. Likewise. Thank you for having me.
I'm inspired by your entrepreneurship.
Thank you. I'm inspired by it as well.
Yes. So again, we'd like to hear your story. So when someone moves to inspire others, they have some underlying inspiration. What is yours? How did you get to this place where you birth, live, inspired, and you're creating all of these wonderful empowerment events in our community?
Wow. So where do I begin with that? You know, from a little girl, it's always been inside of me to inspire. And I've always known that entrepreneurship was something that I was supposed to involve myself into. The workplace was never for me. You know, there's always been a burning desire inside of me for more. And I broke out of that. And my goal is to inspire people, not just women. I do a lot of women empowerment things, but my goal is to inspire people to live the life that they were destined to live, because I know there's a lot of people out there just getting by and living lives in a box. And I want to be able to take people outside of that box.
I love it. And so talk a little bit about kind of what's on the radar for your company over the next several months. What do you have going on?
Well, in January, I have a fitness extravaganza that will be at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia, on January 5th, 2019, from 1 to 6 p.m. So I'm flying in people from several different places, and it's going to be a big New Year fitness event to get people on the track, and even myself for the new year to start a healthy lifestyle. So my platform is to empower all people, and
I don't think Hampton Roads has ever seen anything like what you're doing in terms of fitness in an arena that large. That is exciting.
Well, yeah, there is another fitness platform that does that throughout the year. In April or May in Hampton. But I wanted to bring the New Year aspect in it, because that's when people are thinking about, oh, I want to, start new. I want to start fresh. I want a clean slate. So the New Year is a representation of a clean slate. And I want to give people the opportunity and, have my platform create that clean slate for people.
I love it.
Yes.
And what's big picture for Janita? Where are we going in the next? Because you're doing huge, right? So I'm sure you've got a 5-year and a 10-year. And other benchmarks in place.
My faith guides me, and I put it all in God's hands. However, my ultimate goal is to have one of the largest empowerment platforms there is. I started out doing this thing, doing fundraisers for people. And I just recently got into the women empowerment conferences and things like that, and the women in business expos. So I want to make it really big. I want people to be inspired by my life. I laid down my life for this thing. I quit my corporate job to do this full time. It's not about the money for me. The money isn't the goal. This is my livelihood now. However, my ultimate goal is to inspire people to live that life that they're searching for, and to be the example that it is possible. So in the near future, I want my events to grow and, become that go-to for people to leave and want to change their lives for the better.
Yeah, I love the platform because it reminds me of the fact that, all of us are going through stuff, right? Life takes us all through it. It drags us.
Absolutely.
And for a lot of us...
And it grows us.
It does. But for a lot of us, that can become the reason why we don't live inspired, why we may not take that step into entrepreneurship or into just whatever purpose looks like, right? And so I love that your platform says, no,
right,
we're going to live life together. It's going to be tough, yes. But we're also going to, take steps to live our dreams.
Yeah, those are the things, those nasty things that happen to us in our past. Those are the things that's supposed to push us forward. Because if you don't go through anything, you don't have a story to tell. I definitely have a story, but I'm not broken from my story. I use that to catapult me to the next level in life. And, I walk and live in freedom, and I walk and live in purpose, and I walk my walk. I just don't talk my talk. People see me on social media all the time, inspiring and putting the inspiring messages and things like that, and putting on the inspiring events. But that is an extension of my life. And that is what I believe. Everything you do is supposed to be an extension of you,
Absolutely.
So that is what it is.
Tell us about the most recent event. What was the kind of call to action? What went on?
So my most recent event was the Purpose event, and In Pursuit of Purpose. So that was right after I quit my job. And that event, like I said, talked about an extension of yourself, was an extension of what I just did.
Yeah.
I was in pursuit of my purpose. I quit my job in pursuit of what I truly live for and what I was truly made to do. So that event brought women together. And in the end, some men were there. So it was a platform for everyone. And I had Isabel Davis, the Stellar Award-winning gospel artist, there, and speakers, and we all just came together and empowered women to also walk in that same pursuit. Now, am I telling everyone to quit their jobs tomorrow and go pursue what sets your heart on fire? Well, kind of, but however, whatever you were made to do, find that, because it is my belief, and this is why I do what I do. It is my belief that we all have a specific assignment here on earth, and you're not fulfilled and you're not fulfilling your assignment until you find that and start to walk in it. So that is what I'm doing, and that is what I scream on the mountaintop. Pursue your purpose. I'm in pursuit of my purpose, and I want others to be in pursuit of theirs.
So let me implore you further, or ask you this, because people are on that journey. You're like, oh, I knew what my purpose was. How'd you find it?
Oh man,
was it a series of sort of events that kind of culminated in your realization? Boom, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, or was it a one-off kind of scenario, or was it a little of both? What would you say?
It was a journey. Like I said, I had a kind of rocky past, as some of us have, and it was just digging deep and taking those hard moments and learning from them. You have to learn from those moments in life and just put it all together, because they're all pieces to a puzzle.
So there was like a through line.
Yes, it was just a journey of just different experiences and different things. And, you'll find that some things just fall into your lap. I never thought that I would be planning events. I didn't know what an event planner does. I didn't go to school for it, but like I said, my faith guides me, and my prayer every morning is, God, use me, send me, I'll go. And wherever that place is, that's where I'm headed to. And it just ended up being this way, and I'm all for it. And this is not the end of the story. Like, will I always do what I do? I don't know. But, I'm here for the journey. I'm here for it all. So it kind of just falls together somehow, and it's kind of unexplainable, how it all works out, especially when you're walking, in a genuine manner and you're doing this in a genuine way. So
love it.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just so excited that we're going to celebrate all that you are and all that
I appreciate
doing.
it. It's kind of like, oh man, somebody noticed me, because I don't do it for attention. And I never, like I said before, my circle is small, and, I'm just out here, trusting God and living my life. And to be recognized, I'm honored to be recognized, but it's kind of like, oh boy, really, someone recognizes what I'm doing. And that's a great thing. And something I have to grow into, that people will see, what I'm doing, although that it's not I'm not a limelight, a light person. I'm not seeking the light. Yeah.
Well, Janita, thank you again so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Yes, I can't wait for Friday.
Yes, and if you would, just share the link really quickly in terms of how people can get more information about the January event.
So the January event, you can get it at www.getfitextravaganza.com, and you'll be able to get all the information there.
Perfect. Thanks again, and we will see you soon.
See you
Look forward to
soon.
having you back on the show as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, next up, I told you we had an action-packed show. I am delighted to introduce Professor Devin Robinson. Devin Robinson hails from Atlanta, Georgia, and he is known as the Entrepreneur's Professor. Devin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. I'm so glad you're here.
All
How
right.
are you? What is your stance on entrepreneurship? The focus for today's show is economic development. How is it that entrepreneurship will spur economic development for the Black community?
Well, obviously, first of all, not enough money stays in the Black community, and that's largely because we don't have enough Black-owned businesses. The consumers of our community typically live in our community, but the people that have the businesses there, clearly doesn't live there. And there's a whole economic paradigm explanation that goes in to really illustrate the real problem with that. I know it's a lot of cliche talking about support Black business or circulate color, but it really affects a lot of areas of our lives that we really don't see that's connected to entrepreneurship. But the unique part about entrepreneurship for the Black community, which I call blackpreneurship, is we have a unique set of issues that we must learn to master in order to be successful as Blackpreneurs. And really, it's a separate study from general entrepreneurship.
Yes,
because
it is.
much of what we learn and what's taught to us about entrepreneurship is really not applicable to people of our community. There's certain things that we must be able to master and understand first before we can just shotgun ourselves into some of the principles and teachings that we hear about entrepreneurship.
So, Professor Robinson, what are going to be those takeaways then from your class on Saturday at the Black Expo?
Well, I attacked some of the top issues that we face, right? I wrote my book, Blackpreneurship, 50 Obstacles Black Entrepreneurs Face and how to overcome them. But there's some real key components to entrepreneurship for the Black community that we got to really get a hold of in order for us to be successful. And one is access to adequate capital.
Absolutely.
2, being able to attract high-skilled workers. And
we got
3,
about 15 seconds. What's the third one?
Absolutely. And 3, being able to produce high-quality products and high-paying customers. Those are the things that we really have to nail down and get under our belt.
Will you touch on the 7 steps to starting a beauty supply chain when you're in town?
Oh, I can. Absolutely.
You can.
We've opened 106 stores to date, and absolutely I can get into that as well.
106 Black-owned beauty supply chains. That's what I'm talking about,
right.
Professor Robinson. Hey, and last thing, as promised, 5 best hashtags for Black entrepreneurs according to Black Enterprise. The hashtag Black Entrepreneur is crucial for Black entrepreneurs wanting to attract online attention. It identifies you as an entrepreneur of color, and it helps you connect with the rapidly growing Black entrepreneur community. Be sure to use this hashtag on multiple social networking platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. Next, hashtag Pitch Black. Hashtag Pitch Black, another must-use hashtag for Black entrepreneurs wanting to connect with movers and shakers within the Black startup and investment sector. Pitch Black refers to Black entrepreneurs pitching their startup companies to angel investors and venture capitalists. Add it to your social media post, and you'll be surprised at how quickly your entrepreneurial endeavors will be spotted by investors, specifically looking for entrepreneurs of color. Next, hashtag supportblackbusiness is a hashtag that helps introduce your Black-owned business or potential customers and investors online. Whether you want to attract local customers in your own community or connect with angel investors wanting to support Black and Latino entrepreneurs, using the hashtag supportblackbusiness in your social media posts will help you connect with those interested in supporting your ventures. Number 4, hashtag shopblack. If you sell products as a Black entrepreneur, consider integrating hashtag Shop Black into your social media strategy. And last but certainly not least is the hashtag blacktech. For Black entrepreneurs building technology companies, that hashtag is essential. Add it to your post on social media and networking sites, and there's a great chance you'll attract investor attention from Black-focused investors like @Arlen Was Here. Being social media savvy, as we know, is imperative for Black owners wanting to increase their success rate. Stay with us online at Black Wall Street Today on Facebook and Black Wall Street Today on Instagram, and then follow us on Twitter as well at BWS Today. We look forward to talking again next week. Have a wonderful week.